Boom, hello, and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. This is the #1 podcast in the executive protection game, and this is the largest free real-world library of executive protection content in existence. So sit back, relax, dig in, and enjoy the show. While we honor the slogan that executive protection is more than just a job, ladies and gentlemen, it really is a lifestyle. Boom.
Boom. What's going on, you guys? Another episode of the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. Today, I've got an honored guest, so this one's been a long time coming. We should have been doing this one, but I got Mark Groce with me, who's one of my big brothers in the game, man. Cherub Executive Service, man, we go way back. You guys are about to find out. It's going to be some good stuff in this one. How you holding up, brother?
I'm holding up well, man. Just hanging in there,
Yeah.
Got good. Yeah.
Man.
Trying to grow
back in the day, when I was working a specific client, my first client, Mark I remember seeing you. Wait, man, I remember running into you at Hennessy's.
Exactly. That's where we first met.
Yeah, with Mongo.
Yeah, you were asking us how to get into the game.
Oh, man.
I saw you with Pastor Benny.
Yeah, man. Man, that's full circle. So now everyone's asking me how to get into the game. Guys, this is the guy I asked how to get into the game, man. That's awesome. And I remember you told me, I remember seeing you guys, because Longo, man, he's another guy. What is Longo? Is he
Samoan?
He's Samoan, yeah. So these guys are sitting at this table. I think they're maybe around the fireplace or something like that. Now, this is back when I'm a bouncer, right? So I'm working at Hennessy's. God already told me to go to Hennessy's. You're going to become a bodyguard. You're going to travel the world. So,
Nice.
I'm just kind of like looking around and I see these like giants, like sitting here and I'm like, yo, hey guys, what's going on? What do you guys do for a living? And they're like, we protect people. And then I'm asking them how to get in the game. And that's kind of when you first start putting me on game and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a long ways, man. So that's about 20 years, right?
I guess so. 2008 is when it actually happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, man. And that's when I got on that detail. And I remember when I first got on that detail, you were like, yo, get your CCW, get these things dialed in. Because on that detail, we were traveling heavy. So, we weren't able to carry and all that stuff. Right. We were always gone.
Yeah. Yeah, but you took it a step further though, man. So I'm glad because a lot of times in this industry, guys, okay, look, this will benefit you in the long run, and they're like, well, the cost, and I'm like, you will make that money back and some. It's an investment,
Yeah.
So you took that advice, you went for it, and I applaud you for that because a lot of guys they won't do it, they just get comfortable.
And it's like tragic, because now, in the place that I'm in now, even with the training and the things that I do, I'm like, look, man, like, do what I do, see what I see, have what I have, and these guys are like, well, just like you said, literally what you said. And good dudes, man, won't go to the next level because of that emotional intelligence or fear or uncertainty or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And I keep telling them, you have to have long-term vision. You can't have short-term vision. This will benefit you financially, experience-wise. This will be to your benefit long-term, and you need to take advantage of that wisdom.
Like find a way, bro. Like find a way. Scrape the money together and get on another level in the game. Like come on.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's good stuff, man. Well, it's gonna be so good to catch up with you on this. Because we always, we're trading pain out there in the game. I'm like pushing guys your way. You got something, we always kicking it back and forth.
Exactly.
So I guess we'll start with, who is my favorite question? I ask it on all of it. Who is Mark at his core, man? What on the deep inside of you, man? Who's been the guy behind it?
Well, ever since I was a lot younger, I've always considered myself as the protector or the guardian angel of the people that I care about. And that includes my clients also.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I named the company Cherub Executive Service, the guardian angel. So my core is just someone who just always wants to help those that are unable to help themselves, help those that aren't able to protect themselves. And so that's at the core of my being.
Yeah, man. No, that's that. Absolutely. I'm just getting my little notepad up here because, I'm gonna be taking notes. So I can ask all the questions and stuff. And that, I think, I have my tagline is protector by nature and by trade. And I think that guys that have that ethos make the best professional protectors, because it feels like you're just doing what you do, when you're,
Exactly. Yeah. And that's so important. It's more than just a job, and as you know, in this industry, you have to be able to think on your feet. You have to be able to do what you and with your instincts and trust your instincts. Because I see a lot of these guys, they go to all these extensive training and classes and they have all this, like these teams around them. Well, 99% of the time, you're going to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Either the client doesn't want to pay for a team or they just trust you so much. You've raised the bar so high that they want only you. So you have to be a chameleon in different situations. You have to be able to think on your feet and be able to be alert to protect yourself and your client.
Yeah. No, I judgment and decision making. I would say probably social dynamics and judgment and decision making are probably maybe two of the most important skills in this game. What would you say you look for in new agents when they're coming in the game?
I look for someone who is humble, someone who is professional, someone who's punctual. All the experience, the law enforcement and military experience, I mean, that's good. But you and I have been in this game for a long time. We've seen people that we're like, really?
Like, I thought you were up here and you're really bugging me about this right now.
Exactly. So someone who is alert, someone who is observant, that's what I look for. Someone who's sharp, someone who speaks well, because, in this game, you have to communicate with a lot of different people, and someone who is not a hothead, because that's the lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, it's important that guys don't get just sucked into the cool guy factor of this game. You know what I mean? And try to be tough and stuff like that. Cause the real art is literally never having a force-on-force incident. The real art is having everyone like you, even the people that are in your way. That's actually the Jedi level of this game.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you can't have someone who's a hothead who's just wants to be aggressive. Or another thing that I look for is someone who is a chatty catty.
Yeah.
If you're always talking, first of all, it's annoying. Second of all, the client is looking at you like, okay, what are they saying about me? So that trust level just diminishes right away. And so you just have to be quiet, speak only when spoken to, and keep it short when you are.
Yeah. And I feel like it starts to be one of those things like, why is this guy here? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If he's just always talking and trying to be a buddy, like the bodyguard term, I always tell guys, you want them to know you as a professional. You need to just be a dependable. They know what they get when you show up. You're driving the car, they can relax. If they want to talk, they can talk. If they want to just be quiet and be on their phone or their laptop, just let them flow,
Exactly. Yeah. And I know there are times where I'm in a car with a client and they're talking about the most personal information. I hear everything, but I'll act like I don't. They might say, they might call me Mark. Oh, I'm sorry. I heard them the first time, but I don't really think that I'm listening to their conversation, because then they get paranoid.
Yeah.
So you have to be smart, And like I said, you can't interject. Like they're in a conversation in the back with their people or whatever, and you're interjecting in a conversation. I'm like, what are you doing?
Or you're laughing, Like, bro, you're not even there, homie. Like, it's a matter of survival that you are not even there.
Right.
Because then they will get paranoid. And when they have to have a hard conversation and you in there again, maybe yesterday you laughed at a joke that you heard on the phone. And then today the dude's in a fight with his wife or he's doing a deal or something. Now he's staring at the back of your head while you drive. You're driving and dude, it's not good.
I know, but guys, they do that, and I tell them all the time, look, the client might be friendly, but they're not your friend. Don't cross that line, just be professional, keep your mouth shut, do your job, and you will survive this game. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. Be professional. And these things, these things get guys fired.
Yes.
Like, you were a Navy SEAL. You took all the training. You got 2 backflips, standing backflips, and 2 lasers, and you got fired because of one of these little social things that we're talking about right now, bro.
Exactly. I've seen it 100 times. Yes. Yep. Yeah. It's like that. Yeah.
No, and it's a cold game. The one thing I think it was, what was it, man? Christian West actually said it in one of our podcasts. He was like, the EP game can be one of the most unfair games. It can just be unfair. Like you'll have a good dude and he's gone because, he rented a vehicle that's the wrong brand and he should have known better or he laughed at the wrong time or he walked in the room with so you gotta really feel through the social dynamics, man.
That's true. That's true. It has nothing to do with your job, your experience. It's the client. And you're right about that vehicle. I've seen that happen. I've seen people show up at the POV at the tarmac,
FPO,
the FPO with a white vehicle, and it's like, what are you doing? It's supposed to be black, tinted windows, Escalade or whatever, and you show up in a white Hyundai.
Yeah. And that was the last time that ain't. That's the way it is, man. Yo, so let's take it back, man. Just for everybody, just to understand, your career and all that. So how long have you been in the industry? Maybe let's give them some background.
Yeah, I've been in the industry since 2005. Started out actually bouncing at a club. Yeah. And
that's one of the best educations. I think that's one of the best educations in the security business.
Yep. Yeah. You become very aware of your surroundings at a club,
And if you can do it drunk people.
Exactly. And your interpersonal skills are tested.
Every night.
So yeah, exactly. So, and your patience. Yeah. So it's a great training place. And so from there, I was introduced, a buddy of mine named Andre Gregg, who we're friends to this day, great guy. Yeah. He approached me. He was like, hey, you ever think about executive protection? And I was like, well, bodyguard work? Yeah, it's may work. They may way more than a bouncer, but it's a small clique. It's hard to get in. Yeah. So he said, well, that's what I do. But when it's slow, I do this type of work. So if you're interested, I can help you get into it. So he introduced me to a couple of people. I got my credentials right away. He told me to get my guard card, my exposed firearms permit, all that right away. Yeah. And I started working at a residence. And then while I was there, I started seeing all the EP guys doing all the cool stuff. They were leaving the property, going out shopping with the client, going out to the clubs, going to the amusement parks, to the restaurants. I was like, well, I'd rather do that than sit at the house for 12 hours. So I got ECW. And I was still doing it, part-time. But when the recession hit in 2007, that's when I started doing it full-time.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, that's awesome. So 2000, what'd you say?
2005 was when I started. And then 2007 was when I just got my CCW and I started doing Kobe.
Yeah.
And I started doing that full time. And then from there, I met other clients and
and the rest is history. What, man, there's so much here to unpack, man. And I mean, Kobe, God bless him, man. He's not here anymore. So what was that like, man, when you started with your first big client? Like, talk us through when you walked in and it was Kobe that you're, because we can actually talk about this. This is cool, man. Like, what was that like? What was like the learning the game, survival, like help everyone kind of understand what that's like, man. I think they'd like that.
Looking back,
Yeah.
I was in deep water. I mean, having Kobe Bryant as your first major client, that was
That's heavy.
yeah,
That's
that's
heavy.
really heavy. Yeah, I had like little experience, but I had the military background. 14 years Marine Corps. I had the MMA. But I also had the professionalism, and Kobe taught me a lot. Kobe, I mean, it was a joy working with him because I was security/driver.
Okay. You're
Yeah,
old with him.
yeah, I was with him every day for about 3 years, because I was living in Orange County at the time he was. So I was like taking him back and forth to practice,
Mhm.
games, commercial shoots. And so you get really close to a client when you're with them every day.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about driving. I
Yeah.
learned a lot about awareness. I learned a lot about dealing with high profile clients because a lot of times you're in places where he's not the only celebrity. So there's others, friends of his or acquaintances. So, it was just a great experience.
Mhm.
And once you get him on the resume, then doors open up. So yeah.
Right, right, right. How
So,
did you how did you get put in that position? Yeah.
I was before I got into the security industry, I was doing mortgages.
Hmm.
And this is before the recession. And then I started doing the EP stuff on the side, but the mortgage industry was doing really good. So I had a friend of mine. Am I able to say her name or?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, if it's usually we don't talk about current clients, but you can
right.
do whatever you want, man. You know.
Well, I was good friends with a lady named Sue Nelson who was working for the Lakers at the time. She was
Mhm.
doing security with them, and she was
Yeah.
very close to Kobe and his head of security for the Lakers.
Yeah.
So when the mortgage industry collapsed in 2007, I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, I have my CCW. I have X amount of experience. The mortgage industry sucks right now.
Yeah.
Can you help me out?" I had no idea that she was going to introduce me to Kobe Bryant.
Black
And
Mama himself, man.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So she was like, "Okay, I'm going to talk to him. I know Kobe will like you, your look, your height, all that." So they interviewed me. Well, actually, they didn't interview me. Kobe had to do a talk show. And
Hmm.
so I just shadowed him the
Yeah.
whole night. He and his wife Vanessa were there. Kobe
Yeah.
never said one word to me.
Right.
So at the end of the night, I thought, okay, he hasn't said anything to me. I'm done. But
Yep.
Kobe he was very observant. He was
Mhm.
watching me the whole night.
Yep.
And the next day, the head of security called me. He's like, "Hey, yeah, he likes you. He wants you on the team." So that's how it
Wow.
happened. So
Man.
whether that's something that a lot of guys need to know. You're being watched, whether you realize it or not.
Yep.
Because those
Always.
people at that level, they're very smart, very meticulous, and they don't miss anything.
Right.
So had I been at the restaurant with my face in my plate, just
Right.
eating, not being observant, I would have never been hired.
Right.
But yeah, so it's little things like that you need to be cognizant of. They are always watching you.
Yeah, man, there's so much good stuff in there. There's always someone, and this is the way I live my life, and this is how I eventually got in the game. There's always someone watching you that can change your life. And
Exactly.
so the way we choose to walk on this earth is so important. Being respectful, default respectful, serving people. I think that stuff is so huge, man. And that's eventually when I met Luke, who ended up pulling me onto that first detail. That's what happened. Him and JJ were sitting there watching me all night long deal with people, interacting with people, the way they were like the way you carried yourself, the way you dealt with those things. Yo, let's have this guy do it. And then they, plucked me and said, go get your guard card, exposed weapons permit. I did it quick. Said, give me a call back in 2 weeks. I'll show you how to make a lot more money doing what you're doing. So that's huge. And then the other thing I think you said that's really valuable is relationships, man.
Mhm.
I feel like business is the commerce of relationships.
It is.
Everything that comes in and out of your life is going to come through a relationship, you
Exactly.
know?
Yep. Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Don't burn any bridges, you know?
yeah, man, treat people good.
Yeah, I see it all the time. I see guys in the industry that are jerks to other people. Like you're at a venue, your client's performing at a venue, and
Yeah.
you're a jerk to the venue security or the head of the venue security. I'm like, or you go to your client wants to go to a club, and you're a jerk to the bouncers. These people are here to help you.
Yes. Yes.
So, don't burn any bridges, and you may have to come back.
Yep.
So it's good to, just build those relationships and be cool, especially with the people that are here to help you.
Yeah, you're all the help. We're all the help, bro. You know what I mean? Like they, and I teach the dudes they're auxiliary teammates, man, and it's a big deal. Like and you going ahead and you upset the house staff, or you going ahead and you upset the hotel you're staying at, talking about, do you know who we are? We got the penthouse suite and all this, bruh. Your life can be real. They can make your life miserable, man. Yep.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Exactly. Or they can make you look like a rock star when you need that last minute cabana and the pool area is packed and you got to turn a miracle.
Exactly. Yep. You need the elevator right away. Your client's coming out in 5 minutes. Oh, you were a jerk to me 5 minutes ago, so now you got to wait 15 minutes for me to get the elevator up. So yeah, it's just common sense. But like they say, common sense is not common.
Yeah, no, it's like genius. God bless them, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What would you say? So working Kobe, man, that's awesome. That's when I met you. I remember, I believe I met you during that time that you were working with him, and I was like, wow, And then we traded paint on my detail a little bit, which was really cool. And then you started being like, you need to get your CCW, man. You got to get your options up. And the thing with guys that are listening, you guys get your CCWs, get all your stuff, man. Pay the money. It might take a little bit longer than you like. The sooner you start, the sooner you finish, and then you're at a whole nother level, especially in this Cali market. So that stuff's huge. What would you say are some of the biggest changes you've seen? Because I feel like when I came in and, it was like you had to know somebody, like the industry was not very developed, but what are some of the biggest changes you've seen over the years in the industry, since you started?
Cell phones.
That's a big one.
Everybody and their brother has a cell phone camera. And I was out with a client last winter in December. Mm-hmm. And you're at the restaurant, you're watching your client. And I was shocked at how many couples are at the table and on their phone and not even paying attention to the other individual the entire dinner. When the client comes in, they want to take a selfie, with the client in the background. They're trying to sneak photos. So that stuff is really hard to control, especially if your client doesn't want any pictures taken.
Right.
So and now I don't know if you've ever seen these glasses that are cameras. So you just press a button. It looks like you have on a regular pair of glasses. Some are clear, some are shades.
Yeah.
And you just press the button and they're taking a picture or a video without you even realizing it. Wow. So technology has changed the game. In fact, I have a pair of those glasses.
Yeah, I was about to say, those sound like they could have some applications for us.
Yeah, they're really cool. I mean, you can, because when if you go to a concert, just on you and your wife or significant other, and you see people at the concert, and they have their phone up the whole time instead of watching the concert. Well, now you have these glasses, you can actually enjoy the show, the performance, and not have your hand up the whole entire time, and no one even know. Wow. So technology, I feel, has changed the game, because now you have to tell your client, look, the game has changed. It's not like we can go up to someone and say, hey, can you please respectfully not take any photos? Now you don't even know who's taking a photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure a big one. And I don't know how y'all did EP before cell phones, to be completely honest. If I could be, man, I tell dudes sometimes, they're like, what's your favorite EDC, everyday carry, super secret squirrel piece of gear? I'm like, my cell phone. It's my cell phone, man. I can navigate. I can call for backup. I can do, dude, that thing, make sure you got it charged. I got a battery pack. I got extra battery packs for clients.
Yep.
That's huge, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's technology has changed the game. You got drones now, flying over clients' homes.
Yep.
It's just technology has changed the game.
No, 100%. And everything you do, you got to be selling security, like while you're moving with that client, if you have to do something, you have to be fine with whatever you do being replayed in a courtroom.
Yep. Everything is recorded forever. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the tougher situations you've dealt with in this game over the years?
Of course, the crowd control, the bigger your client, the more attention they're going to get.
Yeah.
So dealing with that, like I said, the challenges of being by yourself in most cases, because sometimes you have to advance the venue or the place yourself when you arrive. You have to make sure that you have the support system, like the manager, the head of security, or whomever is going to meet you there, or maybe an assistant's going to meet you there. Because a lot of times you may be given an address, and instead of coming in the front, there might be a rear VIP entrance.
Right.
So you need to know that. So, and a lot of times, the clients, it's not that they don't care about security. They don't understand what we do.
Right.
They don't understand what we do before, during, and after their arrival. So it's so important to do your homework. This person's going to crypto.com for performance. Well, you need to get there a couple of days before, meet with the head of security, meet with the venue people. Which way are we coming in? Where's the VIP area? So all this, you have to do your homework, where the exits. Once they get on stage, what's the egress, if something were to happen, what's your emergency protocol? What's the nearest trauma center? Where's the nearest police station? So all this stuff you have to be aware of. And it's very difficult. And even little things like knowing where your driver is, because your driver is your best friend.
Yes.
Your best friend. If you need to exit that property immediately, you need to know exactly where your driver is. And even if you have a certain time where you're going to exit, as soon as you go out and those paparazzi flashes start flashing, it blinds you.
Yep.
So even if your driver is like 2 paces to the right or 2 paces to the left, you need to get out there beforehand to see exactly where you're going, because if not, you look like, you don't know where you're doing, where you're going, and you look like an idiot.
Yep.
So your driver is your best friend. You need to know where he or she is at all times.
Yes. Yeah, man. That's you're dropping some solid wisdom there, man. And it's also like your driver, because God bless the drivers, they got to eat, they got to do things, they got to use the bathroom. So you got to take care of your driver, man. You got to solve all his problems so he can stay where you want him to be while you need him to be there. You know what I'm saying? What you don't want. And you got to keep communicating with him, because what you don't want is to come out there and him be, across the street, getting a coffee from the, I figured I could still see the car, so I just walked across the street to get some coffee.
Nope. Yeah. You need to know. And sometimes, drivers, they get a little, upset, but it's like, look, I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the client, which means I'm in charge of everyone when it comes to security related issues. So you need to make sure that you establish that hierarchy, because it is very important. It could be a life or death situation. You might have a known stalker or some crazy person that, is waiting for you outside. So you need to know exactly. And you establish that relationship with your driver, and they'll let you know, hey, Mark, there's 5 paparazzi outside, or there's this suspicious character outside as soon as you walk out. And, you just help each other.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%, man. Absolutely. What would you say about, and this is wisdom, man. And that's the game. That's the brick greases the engines, in my opinion, is helping everyone every step of the way. Like when I'm doing my advanced work, it's, hey, how can I make it easier on the house? This is what you need. How would you like us to do it? This is how we need to do it. This is what, it's this whole kind of dance, this give and take, and respecting everyone's position. So they want to honorably play their position, and like, yeah, with the drivers, you got to tell them sometimes, make sure your cell phone's silent, make sure the music is down, or this is what I want you to turn it to. This is where the temperature needs to be, and make sure those things are understood, man. Because, you get some drivers just be on their Bluetooth. you don't tell them, they just be talking,
Exactly. Phone ring, the answer is like, oh my God.
Yep.
Or they want to say, well, this landmark over here, or this, we don't want to know that. Just drive. Yeah.
Yeah, man. The tour bus driver. No, I love it. No, this is good stuff. What about
when you get a good one, that's special.
Yes. Yeah, man. No, hang on to the good teammates and take care of them, man. What would you say about tips and stuff like that?
Well, I try to keep petty cash because a lot of times, you pull up to a place, a restaurant or venue, and you want to have the vehicle right there. So you want to, pay the valet, to keep the vehicle right up, or allow the vehicle to stage right there. Or if the bellman, you want to tip them, because you have to also protect your client's image and their brand. You don't want them to appear to be cheap.
Right.
Because then people look at them like, I'm not going to really go the extra mile for this person. They don't really tip or anything like that. So you try to compensate for that by having your own petty cash. And then, the client will reimburse you later.
Right.
You need to also be, cognizant of your client's image, as well as their personal safety.
Yep. Because we're protecting all those things.
Exactly.
And like you said earlier, man, I treat every venue as if I intend to come back. When I roll back in there with a client, or maybe even my wife, I want them to be like, Mr. Rodgers, good to see you again. Yo, what do you need, man? Like, let's do the thing again. Let's get those white envelopes. Let's get that petty cash up. We call it cake. You know what I'm saying? We got to cake them up. Make sure we keep cake them up before we go through.
But it goes a long way.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it helps you out, So, but yeah, definitely do that.
And then you end up at different venues. Like when you're at certain levels, like if you're working Vegas or you're working downtown LA or these other places, like you could be with celebrity, whoever, they don't care. It's a slow Tuesday. They just had I'm with Britney Spears. They just had Mike Tyson and everybody there. That's every day of the week for them. They don't care, man. So your little coolness isn't going to open all the doors, man. So just understand how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also have to be careful with dropping names. I don't drop a name unless I have to.
Right.
It's like you said, you tell them, okay, so they're like, yeah, whatever, But if I say, okay, I'm going to be there tomorrow, or who's the head of security, or who's in charge, and I'll let them know, because you can drop a name and then all of a sudden you have 20 paparazzi show up there. Yeah. You're like, wait a minute, how did they know?
Yeah. Because it's
a known stalker, that you never saw coming is there, So you have to be careful with dropping names. And then your client, loses trust, because they're like, well, if you drop my name, or if you drop his name, what's to say you're not going to drop my name,
Right.
So you have to be very, very cautious about that.
No, that's big, man. I feel like most of the clients, a lot of the clients I've worked have asked me for my client list. Some of them, about 50% of them. Usually I'm able to get out of name dropping by just letting them know. Like I usually try not to speak about who I've worked for. And that's the same level of protection and respect that I would render for you as well if we do work together. And they seem to like that. They've never pressed me. I'd say, I'm like, if you really, really want to know, then I can tell you some things. But I try to navigate it that way. And they seem to really like that because just like you said, you start name dropping. It means a few things. One, if you're name dropping, you're telling me what you're proud of, which means that's the highest level you've gone to, right? Because it's very anticlimactic when somebody name drops and it's like not a big name, Like, yeah, when I worked for da-da-da-da-da, and you're like sitting there like, who is this person? I gotta and you slanging this like it's so hard, but I got no idea you're talking about. But it tells me that's the highest level you've gone to. And then it also tells me, man, you're looking for clout. So these are dangerous things in our industry because clout chasing, that's the guy that'll be taking pictures with the client stuff. That's the guy that's telling everybody who we worked for. It's an operational security hazard,
Exactly. Yeah, I see that all the time. You see guys, in their social media, they have all kind of pictures with this person and that person, and I kind of look at that like, that's that's not cool. That's not professional. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
unless like somebody takes a photo of you with that client,
Mhm.
unbeknownst to you,
Yeah.
but. It's like say, hey, can I take a picture with you? Or can I have an autograph? Because I tell people all the time, when these clients get to a certain level, they don't trust a lot of people
Right.
because everybody wants something from them.
Right.
So when they bring you into their inner circle, that's special.
Right.
And when you turn around and ask for an autograph or a photo, then
Right.
he's just like everybody else.
Yep.
So you want to just maintain that line and that
Yeah.
level of professionalism.
No, that's super important. And like, you want to act like you've been there before. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, this is the level I play ball at, and it's no disrespect to the client, but I feel like they feel like they want to, in some cases, they want to be like not a celebrity for a little bit. Like, they want to be a human. They want to get in the car with you and relax and not think that you're looking at their celebrity, but you're there to protect them.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if they drop something on you, that's a whole nother conversation. That's cool. That's on them, but yeah, 100%, man. I've seen that go far for sure. And then the reason I don't post anything with clients or current clients or anything like that is because then you get tied to their reputation. You know what I mean? So like if something happens, one, you increase your own risk profile. So if they got the stalker, now you got the stalker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now you're exposing you and your family to that level of risk, that risk profile, And then two, if something happens with them, people assume it happened with you because that you're their guy, right? At least on social media now you are. And then the third thing I've seen is clients will look at your social media.
Yeah, they will.
And a lot of them follow me. People I've worked for and with follow me, and they'll see how you treat other clients and their stuff and respect their privacy, and they'll know that they can expect the same. So it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's wisdom, man. That is wisdom. A lot of people need to absorb this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Now, I did have a conversation with Elijah Shaw, man. He was a close friend. He was like, now some guys do that because it helps other clients recognize them. So I think maybe there's another like martial art, like there's another way, like we talking jujitsu and Muay Thai, maybe, but I feel like once you do that, you can't take it back.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I said, you always need to be cognizant of your image, your reputation, and all that's important because, as you know, this is a small industry.
Yes, it is.
Everybody pretty much knows everybody. If I don't know Byron, I know somebody who knows Byron. If I don't know Mark Groce, I know someone who knows Mark Groce. And it's very easy to find out what's this guy like,
Right.
What's your opinion of this individual? Have you worked with him? Do you know somebody who's worked with him? What are they like? And if we could do it amongst ourselves, the clients can do it because they all know each other.
They had the same house party. They had the same.
Exactly. They could very easily say, well, do you know this person? They work for you, and it's either good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But also the sad thing about this industry is you can have the best reputation in the world, and someone that works for you can be stupid and just destroy everything.
Yes.
Everything. I've had that happen to me. Yes.
Oh, man. I finally have ran into some of that too, man. And it's tough, man. You have to realize that, some of the biggest threats to your business and your brand are the guys that you make money with, that you bring on, that you provide opportunity to, that you try to bring in as part of the pack, man. And it's tough, because.
No, I was watching one of your podcasts and you mentioned manpower is one of the challenges. And it is because, you look at a person's resume, you look at their experience, you talk to other people, you bring them on, you're thinking that this person is totally legit.
Yeah.
and you realize later that this person, was an idiot.
Yeah.
And by that time, it's too late. And so now you have to do some damage control.
Mhm.
And, it's just a dent to your reputation, which is the tough part, because
Yeah.
you work so hard in this industry to establish a good reputation. You personally are solid, but
Man.
it's some of the people that you hire, unbeknownst to you, that just not, capable of doing their job.
Yep. One thing I've learned, and I mean, strikes a chord with me. One thing I've learned is a few things like, because I'm a grunt, man. I'm an infantry dude. I'm a handshake guy. If I shake your hand, yeah, we're gonna do the thing. Like what I say, I try to be like God. If I say it, it's fact. And what I've learned is that can get you in trouble in this game because you really need to be careful about your documentation. So there were aspects of my company I just was like, I'm just going to do right by people and it's going to be good. But I've learned that you need lawyers. For those of you guys starting a private security company thinking you're going to just get your PPO, let me tell you something, dog. Talk about this for a minute, bro. Make sure you structure things correctly. Make sure Go ahead. Let them know what you think about that, man.
By California state labor law,
Yeah.
everything, like you said, document everything, have attorneys. And I also tell people, that are starting a new business, make sure you have resources
Yes.
set aside, because your client may take 30, 60, 90 days to pay you. You can't say, hey, Byron, I'm sorry, I can't pay you right now because I haven't been paid by that client. Well, that's not your fault. That's
Yep.
my problem,
Right.
So yeah, so a lot of people think, oh, I can get my PPO, I can start my business.
No, bro. No, and it's dangerous to do that, man, because you have a few things go on like that where like you can't pay the guys so the client pays you. And almost in some cases, the bigger like I've learned with the bigger the corporation you work for, sometimes the slower they pay.
Yes.
The little guy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
so there have been times when we eat ramen noodles, bro. And we pay the guys. And everybody thinks I'm gonna
Yep,
try not to go off.
exactly.
Everybody think we over here balling because we own a company, bro. And we over here just, I'm paying everybody. That's
Oh.
how much did Byron make this year? Everybody. I'm paying. I don't know because I'm paying everybody. So I make sure my guys are good.
Yep, exactly. Because you never retain good guys like
Yep.
that. So
Yep.
now we get around. Like I said, it's a small industry that we're with.
Yeah, man. No, that's good stuff. And then I remember when I was starting my PPO, I asked you, I was like, is there anything you would say about this, that, and the next thing, and, about starting a business? You were like, make sure you have some operating capital for that very, very thing. Any other advice you would give somebody? Because I know PPOs are popping up left, right, center, and sideways. Any other advice you'd give guys who are thinking about trying to get into this industry as at the company that are starting a security business?
Be prepared to spend little time with your family.
Yeah.
Because it is a grind. And not only are you starting out, you're going to have to pound the pavement, you're going to have to knock on doors, you're going to have to generate business. But once you do get the business and you get the clientele, now you have the employees, and it's going to be a struggle. Scheduling, people have family emergencies.
God bless them.
Yeah, 15 minutes before they're supposed to show up.
Right, Gerald.
Emergency.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna be up calling 50 dudes for the next. You'll be mid taking a bite at home of food of your family. Someone's like, "Oh, I had an emergency, or I didn't see the schedule," and you got to get somebody there. Now it's like, well, I'm gonna be driving to this post while making 50 phone calls, and we've helped each other out multiple times. We're like, yeah, exactly. You can vouch for it.
Exactly.
24/7.
Yep. 24/7, and have an understanding significant other, because when your phone starts blowing up, they have to understand the entrepreneurial mindset.
Yep.
You don't have a 9 to 5.
Right.
You don't have a Monday through Friday.
Right.
So this is 24/7. So you have to have an understanding significant other that can, cut you some slack when you have to get out of bed at midnight to go cover a shift. So, yeah.
That's the real talk of it. And what I tell guys is make sure you cast that vision, so, make the vision plain for your family. Make sure your wife knows why you're doing this, what you're doing. and where we're trying to take the family and the legacy involved, and then make sure she gets to reap some of those benefits. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're out there hammering, but make sure, like, when I'm like, I try to go from 5 to 7 on most days when I'm home. I try to have that be family time. Like, unless somebody's dying, I have a code with my boys. If you double call me, I will answer the phone. But if you double call me and it ain't legit, like excommunicado, bro. If you double call me and I'm in the middle of a gunfight, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, what's going down? You know what I'm saying? But so they know. And make sure you spend time with them and make sure they know where you're going, in their minds and in their hearts. I think that matters for a lot, man.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of ways that your employees can destroy your company and get to you. And the other thing is too, sometimes it's the most illegit dudes. It's the guys, like, no good deed goes unpunished. That's what I've learned. No good deed goes unpunished, man. The guys that I've been like, yeah, I'm gonna like help this dude out and like get him, da 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 da. That's the guy, bro.
The one you watch out for.
Yeah, man. That's the guy, man.
More often than none, because you think, okay, you're a person of integrity, you're a good person. You think that everyone is like that.
Yep.
Yeah, my attorneys call it legalized extortion. You have employees out there that will, purposefully set you up. It's a shame because, like I said, if you're a good person, you expect to be treated, with respect and have some good come back to you. But not everyone is like that. And you just have to understand that. And you can't get upset. You can't get angry. You just have to understand that people are people and not everyone has integrity.
Yep. No, 100%. And that is exactly right. It's just a matter of business. It's a matter of paperwork. I need you to sign these things. And that is something that I've been also vulnerable to, because I just expect dudes to be good dudes. Like, hey man, putting you in this position, we're gonna make some money together, and like you can take care of your family, help me take care of my family. It's symbiotic. And my lawyers call it the same thing: extortion letter. Then you get an extortion letter. You know what I'm saying? and there's all these little things in there you didn't even think were an issue. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're doing your meal breaks right, your overtime right, you're paying them weekly, all these little things. So make sure you guys lawyer up and have someone guide you through the California workers law that's out there.
It will save you a ton of money and stress.
100%, man. No, this is good stuff. I love it. Do you have an ideal client demographic? Like an ideal, what do you like to work? What have you been working as far as the different clients?
Well, right now, I mainly focus on the uniform side. And I'm glad I did that right before COVID. I switched to more uniform. And it was a godsend because, during COVID, the entertainment industry just shut down.
Died, yeah.
No one was touring, no one was recording, no one was filming.
Yeah.
But the uniform side did very well.
Yes, it did.
So that's my main focus. And before I get into that, I just want to say, 95% of the employees out there are great. They're awesome. They're punctual. They do their job. It's the 5% that you spend most of your time on.
Yes.
Is the biggest challenge. But but back to the demographics. So I focus mainly on uniform, but I do have a few high profile clients, and I try to go with the clients that are more mature, that don't hang out till 6 a.m. every night, at the club.
Right.
Don't have a bunch of people after them. So the risk factor is low. So that's why, and I've been doing this for so long, I can pretty much say no to certain individuals. I don't have to grab everything that comes on the table. And I don't want to put my guys at risk either.
Right.
So that's what I try to steer towards.
Yeah. No, that's wisdom, man, in terms of client selection. I think some guys want to just jump in on everything. And sometimes when you're trying to get momentum, you do have to, like I tell guys starting out, I'm like, walk through all the doors, bro. Take the night shift, go just do security, all the security, work all of it, And when you're building your business, sometimes you got to kiss some toads and and take what you can get, just because in the state of California, you got to have insurance before you have your PPO. So you got overhead, dog. You have overhead in the state of California because you got to get that insurance going. But client selection is very important. Some of the things I look for too is like, what are the people in the organization like? So like, are they all like scared and like Mr. Such and Such is going to meet with you? Like, are they all uptight? Are they mean? Are they whatever? Because that kind of attitude reflects leadership very often,
Yes.
and you're going to be one of them once you get, if they hire you, going to be in their shoes real soon.
Exactly. Yeah. I also look for not necessarily clients, but their people around them that listen. Because a lot of times, like I said, it's not that they don't respect us, they don't understand what we do. So if you have an assistant or a manager or an agent who you can go to and say, hey, look, these are the concerns I have. This is, what I suggest. And they actually listen to you and actually follow your instructions, then that's what I look for also. Because if you have someone that's just used to yes men and they just discard everything, no matter how essential it is, then I try to stay away from that, because that's going to get you in trouble, going to get your client in danger, and you or your guys at risk. So
yeah, no, that's wisdom. Do they value and respect security?
Exactly.
Because then you'll have the authority you need to do your job, and if they don't, you'll just be along for the ride. And that's the worst. That's the worst.
The worst, the absolute worst. Yeah.
Man. No,
if
that's
you get a client that respects you and takes your suggestions seriously, it's perfect.
Yep, 100%.
Rare, but it's perfect.
Absolutely. It's still private security, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. No, I love it. And then what would you say as you watch the industry kind of evolve? And real quick, I want to punctuate some of the wisdom that you said as you diversified what you offer, and that's what I saw too. Fortunately, I was in that position as well before the pandemic kicked off. All the residential stuff, uniform stuff, boom, that stuff went through the roof. Anything in the entertainment shut down. And so that is a smart move. I see some security companies don't want to do EP and uniform stuff in the same breath or whatever. But I personally, I feel like the residences and the uniform stuff is the backbone of the business. It's the consistent money, and then the EP stuff moves in and out.
Right.
A lot of time.
Yeah. I like I said, I moved away from the EP pretty much exclusively, but like I said, occasionally I might go out, but my main focus is the uniform, and it's been beneficial. You have to have a lot more accounts than EP or the residential, but I think the longevity of that, because like you said, on the EP side, they could wake up the next morning and be like, well, I no longer want you.
Yeah. Nothing's happened for a while.
Exactly.
You need security. Well, nothing's happened because security. It makes sense to them and the accountant,
Yeah. And another thing I also look for when I'm bringing on or agreeing to bring on another client is, how does that organization pay? Like, are they known to take forever to pay me? Or are they, get a little funny? Okay, we said we're going to pay you this, but your invoice is less. So I look for that. Because there are some companies out there, like I said, the bigger they are, the longer they take to pay you. And, you have bills to pay, insurance. And so you just can't wait 6 months for them to reimburse.
100%, man. Any advice to agents who newcomers to the game? I get a lot of the question that I asked you, how do you get in the game, or what's it like? Any advice to guys who are thinking about getting into this industry?
I would say know exactly what you're getting into, because a lot of people see us and they see us with the client and they think it's glamorous and, this is like, oh, wow, I see you on TV, and they don't understand you were up 17 hours.
Right.
Yeah. So they don't understand what that day entails. A lot of it is what we call hurry up and wait.
Oh,
so Yeah, so you're most of the time you're just standing by, you're waiting, you're preparing, you're mentally preparing. So don't think that. I mean, granted, it is a great opportunity. You get to see some places that you probably would never normally go to. You get to see some experiences that you probably would have never been exposed to. So it is a great opportunity, but it's not as glamorous as what you see. So go into it with your eyes wide open. That you're going to have to work. You have to be observant. Your sleep. You're going to be sleep deprived on a lot of occasions. You're going to be hungry.
Yep.
Just go into it with your eyes wide open.
Yeah, man. And you're going to spend holidays parked outside in the chase vehicle, hoping they bring you a plate outside the house. Like, it's just you're in service. You're in service, man.
Exactly.
And, listen to the podcast. We got over I think we almost got like 200 episodes, season 6 of people just sharing this stuff. Man.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. I remember when you first started the podcast, and now here you are, and that's awesome.
That means a lot coming from you, man. You're one of my big brothers in the game, man. That's awesome. A lot of this thanks to you. There's one of the first companies that I work with. I remember we had that one. I remember we had that one account, boy. That was a tough account.
Oh, God.
Man, God bless her soul, man. Ooh, yeah, man. That account.
Everybody here in like 5 minutes.
Yep. And she ran through, and I got all my dudes, man, like Caleb, Jeremiah, all the dudes. It's like my class, like we moved through the industry. We done awesome. Man, almost every one of us just got whacked. Like that was a hard client. And I think that's the only time I got fired, man. And I ain't never been fired like that in my life. She lit me up. And I remember being like, well, golly, like this is about the best. I ain't been cussed out like, I was like, the Marine in me was like, I'm just gonna enjoy this, man. I've been talking like this for a while. Oh man,
God bless her soul, man. But that was an interesting client.
Man, she's a legend, man. I've had young bucks come through and be like, yo, you work this account? And I'm like, yes, I have. Good luck, bro. And I remember that was paying so good. And this is another one for you guys out there in the game. If it pays a lot, pay attention. I remember it was paying so high. I was like, it was like $1,400, two shit. Was it? Yeah. It was something like that, like $700 a day. And I was like, shoot. And this is back when $500 a day was good. Okay. So this is before Joe Biden, y'all, when like you make $500 a day, that was a great day rate. And I was like, $700 and I do 2 shifts. I'm like, I'll do whatever you want for this money. And then it's
every penny.
Yeah, man. And then it kicked off and I was like, oh my gosh, man, that's good to go.
Yeah, that was she's infamous.
And then what was I going to say? Let's see here. Where do you see the industry going these days, man? Is there anything you see out there worth talking about? Anything you hope doesn't happen? Anything you see might be taking place out there in the game?
Well, I mean, I know with AI, it's going to change the game because it could be used for good or it could be used for bad, So I see the introduction of AI changing the game significantly, one way or the other. Just like it all boils down to technology, I mean, where we've come from since 2000 to 9 is just drastically different, and it's just going to get, even more significant. So yes, I definitely see the technology into the game changing it.
Yeah, and it's exponential. It's like it grows by 2 parts, then 4, 6. Like it just the growth, the rate of technology we can hold in our hands, and the potency of it and capabilities are it's exponentially growing. So it's like
just like even your phones, like they have like these heat sensing applications where it can see, okay, you're at a location or you're not at a location because it senses the heat. So it could tell, okay, you clocked in, but you're really not there, so it gets smarter as it goes. So it's just definitely changing the game, like I said, for the better and for the worse.
Yeah. And I've had clients and also, spooky digital dudes hacking Teslas and taking control of Teslas and things like this, man. Like, so if it could be, I had another OG in the game who I have to interview. I just remembered, man. If it can be coded, it can be decoded. That's what he told me, man. And we all laughed at him. And now we're all like hitting it back up.
Exactly.
Sly Starling. I don't know if you know Sly from
Yeah.
I'm sure you know Sly, man. I gotta hit him up.
Good guy.
Yeah, man. Good to go.
This industry is small.
What's that?
This industry is small.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's how it works. What's your proudest moment? And then we'll get into the closing questions, the last three after this. Proudest moment in the game.
Proudest was probably I was able to take my daughter with me one time to Europe to see what I do.
Wow.
And that was at the client's request.
Wow.
So, because I never tell them my personal life, but when you're with this person for years, they find out you have a family. So, well, I want to meet your daughter. So so she got to see what daddy does.
Wow.
So that was one of the most proudest moments of my life. And then when she went back to school, she was in high school at the time. She went back to school with an all access badge.
Go ahead, girl.
I was daddy of the year.
Oh man,
yeah. So that was one of my proudest. Another one was starting my business.
Yeah.
Because no one in my family is a business owner. I'm the first and only one. So to start this legacy is a godsend. So that's why I wanted something that honored God, but wasn't too over the top, fanatical. So that's why I named my company Cherub Executive Service. So when somebody hears it, sometimes they connect it.
Right.
Like,
those who know.
Exactly. Yeah. But deep down inside, it's still honoring God. So that's why I always say my business can't fail.
Man, that's good, man. That's good. That's good stuff. I love it, man. That's awesome. And those unintended, I don't want to use the word consequences, but outcomes associated with just doing good, being dependable, your client, caring, and making your client caring and creating a situation where your daughter can come tag along, that's so cool, man. And those things happen when your client sees you as a professional, Yeah. I think guys, sometimes people hear and see those things and they think, well, man, he's really good friends with that guy. But, the clients that I have that I've been with and I'm still friends with, the first one from back in the day still calls me. We're still close, but it's because he was able to depend on me as a professional first all the time. And then, he would give us stuff and he would take us places and treat us like his sons, and we have a few relationships like that, but it's because they know this guy really honors me. He respects me. And then they do share some things maybe they don't, but that's how you get there, guys, is they really respect what you do because you respect them.
Exactly.
That, man.
Yep. Yeah.
And then let's see here, as we close this out, man, tell us a little bit about Cherub. So we're out here in Southern California, just so you guys know too, that are listening, for Cali agents, for sure. Cherub is one of the companies that I plug guys into that I like to try to vouch for. If there's a guy that comes through training that I want to plug into the industry, I'll send him to Mark. If there's a guy that, someone I meet that I think would be good, I'll send him to Mark too. So this is one of the individuals that you very well will meet if you get connected to me. I've worked for Cherub personally. Mark's an awesome boss, awesome man to work for, awesome man to serve with. So I guess let everyone know a little bit about, we kind of talked about it off and on, but I definitely want to make sure they know what's up.
Yeah, we're mainly located in the Los Angeles area. So we've been in existence since 2009. Like I said, we have uniform, armed and unarmed that we focus on. So if anyone's looking for a uniform position that are based in the LA area, we also have some clients in Santa Clarita and Ventura, but mainly the West Hollywood, downtown LA, Koreatown, Beverly Hills area. Definitely reach out. We're always looking for solid, dependable, punctual professionals.
Yes.
So, yeah. Reach out.
That's awesome.
www.cherubexecutiveservice.com.
Awesome. CherubExecutiveService.com. All the links are going to be underneath the show. And then the final question, man, at the end of the day, what's it all for, man? How do you want to be remembered, when this is all said and done?
I want to be remembered as a man of integrity, someone who his word is his bond, someone who looks out for his employees, someone, because there have been situations where someone says, well, hey, Mark, I've been offered this opportunity. I just want to come to you and tell you. And I'm like, fantastic. If you need a reference, I'll do it, because I'm all about helping people get better and get better opportunities and do more for themselves and their families. So I want to be remembered as a guy who just helped somebody, advance in life.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. No, you wrote me a letter of recommendation too back in the day, man. I love it. I appreciate that, man.
And now you're Big Willie.
Yeah, it's a small pond. That's what it is. It's a tight shirt. God is good, man. God is good. Outstanding. Well, man, it's been awesome to catch up with you. Awesome. We should have done this sooner, but I think it's perfect. Everything's on schedule, man. I love you. I respect you. Glad we're connected. Looking forward to more good things, man. Thank you so much for coming and doing this with me.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. All right.
Yeah. Boom. Boom. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Staccato. My first pistol sponsor. I've been sponsored by a lot of companies, right, over the years. But when it comes to pistol, that's my bread and butter. Pistol is something I believe in. I'm a competitive shooter. We're shooting anywhere from, 800 rounds a month type of thing, right? So Staccato, being what I believe, is one of, if not the most complete handguns you can put in your hand. It's got every component that a handgun could have, should have. They're actually extremely dependable now that they've made some changes, and these things are straight up tack drivers. If you're looking for a pistol that will do as much of the work for you as a piece of hardware can, obviously you have to have the marksmanship and all the different things, but different guns perform at different levels. And I want to say that Staccato is one of, by far, for sure, take it from a competitive shooter, we're shooting the highest volumes of rounds constantly right now. Not used to have a background guy, but like right now, when you go shoot, you're going to see certain brands. Staccato is one of, if not the highest performing firearm that is both CCW, duty ready, and also competitive ready. So I want to give them a shout out. If you guys are looking for a good handgun to build your skills on top of, go check out Staccato. Much love and respect. Yo, if you're a private security professional wanting to take your game to the next level, go to executiveprotectiontrainingday.com to check out my personal success package for private security professionals. Check it out, executiveprotectiontrainingday.com. And remember, y'all, hard skills do save lives, but soft skills get you paid. Boom. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can, because it makes all of these things possible. Thanks for those contributions.